All right, here we go. Peace, 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 and more peace. All right, peace to the squad. Peace to everybody on the simulcast. We are live today with a wonderful guest, a friend, I would say, and a partner. Um, the
Yes, sir.
wonderful, great Miss Cassandra Cooper. Yes, Cassandra is the owner, operator of OVA Television Group, which is in Los Angeles, Texas. Have TV stations in multiple cities, um, and she's doing the thing. She has spaces and places out in out in the valley in Hollywood. So where she's actually getting busy, and she's a real live Indian too. She's one of us. She's one. She's one of the ones. So
Thanks,
definitely,
thanks to Granddad.
say what?
I said thanks to my grandfather.
Thanks to Grandpa. There we go. Grandpa has the key. So
Yeah.
that's something that we definitely want to talk about as well. So maybe we could start about that. Like, so where are you from? I know you're from the South, right? Like,
No, I'm originally from Boston, but both of my parents are from South Carolina,
okay.
and my grandfather on my mother's side is FBI, full-blooded Indian. Um, so, so that's how the Native American gets introduced into this mix via Granddad.
Right. Okay. And that's South Carolina. Do you know um, like I don't know areas or talk to us because one thing that
I
we
mean,
discovered too on this channel is that the Gullah Geechee are the original Guale Indians. They're go way back, so they are deep Indians too. So there are a lot of hidden history, a lot of names that we don't know are are real Indians too that we got to go deep and find in the book. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, my family on my maternal side originates from a little town called St. Stephen, South Carolina. And
mm,
an interesting bit of trivia, with just not even with regard to the Native American side, but it's also the largest documented population of Black slave owners.
ah,
So my goddaughter found that out when she was doing a little research on the family. Not something that we
mm,
spoke about very often, but yeah, largest documented group of Black slave owners. So
ah, and but that would be in South Carolina. That's where the black folks had the money at, and where they had the
exactly.
land, and they were doing the thing. Maybe we could talk a little bit about slavery and what we think slavery is today. Maybe what it actually was at the time. I don't know, how far they get to that, but that's definitely a good conversation. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it's not something that I've ever publicly shared, but I think that it requires that. I mean, I think that we've kind of spent so much time not knowing our history, and then when we discover something that we don't think is favorable, we just kind of bury it. And I think
right,
that we need to stop doing that because all history, especially for people of color, is vitally important.
right,
If we don't know where we've come from, we don't know where we're going.
right. Exactly, and that's what they're doing right now. They're manipulating history. So it's like we're kind of confused on who we are. We don't even know what we can tap into,
Exactly.
the lineage, and so that's a fight that we have to fight though. And then so okay, so that kind of leads us up to how you're in the media. But so you're from Boston, so talk to us about Boston. Like, would you?
You know, I had a great experience for me in Boston because I came along, in the '70s after everything was over. So there wasn't any other strife. I mean, I've read about things, I've read about the history of the racism in Boston, but me personally, I didn't experience it. I went to an integrated school. For a while, I was the only Black person at my school until about fourth or fifth grade.
Mm,
Um, and again, it just wasn't abnormal. That was just the way that it was.
mm,
Um, and yeah, I love the city. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of history. The Underground Railroad is there. The Boston Tea Party happened there. So for me, I grew up being a historian, just with regard to Boston because it is such a city so rich in history. Kind of every which way you turn, there's a story that is a piece of history.
right, definitely. piece of history that they stole from us. I'm sure. From
Absolutely.
you know
Absolutely. America is a revisionist historical country. We
exactly
write and rewrite the history as it suits ourselves. And
exactly
I don't mean us, but you know who I'm talking about.
right. The people that call themselves us pretend to be us. So when did you
That's correct.
okay? So how did you get? When did you decide to get into media and to get into television? Um,
I've kind of taken the long road around to this. After I got graduated law school, I went to work at Sony Music, and I was in the marketing department there, and for about a good 7 years, and did really well with that. When I got tired of that business, I decided that I was coming to LA and going to be a writer, and that led me to all over this town, working for King of Queens, the L Word, and ultimately opening up my own studio when nobody would hire me to helm my own show. So I said, forget it. I'll just go ahead and start my own studio, and we'll write and we'll produce. And then I had to get into distribution, because when I was done with the writing and the producing, guess what? Couldn't sell the stuff.
yeah.
So I got myself on all the mailing lists for all of the big agencies where they went to, the MIPCOM, the NAPTI, all of those things, and started building a book of business for distribution as well. So that was probably over a period of 7 years. And what that did for me is, in addition to creating a income stream for myself with the projects we had, I also took on other projects that were not distributed, and that afforded me a pretty interesting catalog, because I ultimately got to 105 films in 12 years, and I have two right now going out for distribution and producing two more. Um, so yeah, I kind of took the long road.
Right, right. But that's the road that we need. The road that we where you know how to do everything. You know where all the bodies are headed. You know what I'm saying. You know the ins and outs. So that is the road.
Absolutely. It's definitely not, it's not how I envisioned it. And I tell people that all the time, that if you're going to get into the entertainment business, be prepared to adapt and change, because you never know what's ahead of you.
Mm.
So
So did you like so now you've kind of transitioned. How did you get your first TV station, your first signal? Let's talk about that because I know that's TV stations aren't they're not just giving them away to black people. Black people don't own TV stations out here.
yeah, no, definitely not that. My former business partner actually went out and leased a signal here in Los Angeles. And we had to learn the OTA model. I happened to have the catalog. She had the signal, and so we partnered together to create what is now OVA TV. At that time, we were kind of called Step One,
Mm.
and we were running a signal here in Los Angeles, 31.9, and super expensive. A lot of expenses to operate it, and the trouble was really just connecting with an audience. Was not for a lack of content, but more or less because it was an antenna station, and out here in LA, cable is a bit of a monopoly.
Right.
So we
That's
did
very
we did garner an audience. We sold advertisements. We sold products. So we do know that people were watching.
right.
But yeah, that's an expensive starter route that I would not recommend to anybody.
Mm.
To be completely honest.
But how was that? Like I said, you started your own network. Cause I mean, again, that's a big challenge. You have to broadcast the signal. Once you get the content, you have to get the content from here to the people. So again, it gets expensive. You have to constantly come up with new content, new shows. You have to build relationships with the producers. Talk about that.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, talk about that. Like,
Well, I mean, as I stated, I came to this with approximately 300 hours of content, and as you know, you've certainly helped us in terms of the expansion. But yeah, I came to this initially with the content, so that was probably that's the biggest expense and the biggest challenge, because again, if I didn't have that, we would have spent a ton of money trying to license that content, or do a revenue share with producers to do that.
right.
Um, so that was the challenge. I mean, now as we go into our next phase, which is to be a fully linear channel on Comcast, we need another 500 hours of content.
Mm.
So
And that's
that's
that. Yeah, that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you too is like that you have these platforms and that you have opportunities to help creators expand their content, expand their reach for their audiences, and that is kind of what we need because again, like we're out here trying to tell our story, we're out here trying to and create a light for the plight of our people in America, our stories, our struggles, our ambitions.
yes.
So how would someone get the attention of a network owner, someone like an independent producer, independent writer? How would they get your attention? You know,
Uh, I'm the most findable person on the planet. So
but of
look up
course,
Cassandra.
I mean, of course, but it comes down to content, though. I mean, of course, it would come down
Absolutely.
to it has to be the content that fits into your will, it fits into your production design. So like but what content are you looking for? Like you have like some female driven shows, African American, Indian. I
I
mean,
mean, we run the gamut. I mean, honestly, as long as it's good, I want to be I want to be informative and entertaining at the same time. So that does that's a broad brush. Um, we don't want to be so highly educated that we can't laugh at ourselves either. So that's why I said the content runs the gamut. We want everything. Obviously, I'm interested in seeing things that have women in leading roles and people of color in leading roles. And it's not limited just to female content because, men and women go together. So it shouldn't be an issue. We're not limiting it just to female content. It's kind of everything. But like I said, with the emphasis on us being in the forefront.
right, definitely, definitely. So like what I mean, again, I know like some of the struggles that we face as creators and producers, like trying to come up with content, trying to get people together to do these shows and stuff, is could be a challenge. But so um, how do like what about if I had a product or a business, like could we work with you too? Can we advertise on your station? Like because again, like I think me personally, again, I worked in television because I believe that this is a good way for us to communicate, and once we can have
Absolutely.
platforms such as yourself where we can send content, we can know to check it out. We can also have commercial media there where we because we're watching it, so we need to know what we're so how do you,
Absolutely.
yeah, how do you approach like entrepreneurs? Like, are
So
you
right now, I'm working with our marketing department because I want to meet 1,000 entrepreneurs across the country, specifically females who have a product to advertise. Because what I want to do beyond just advertising for us, but to get everybody to work together and support one another. And we talk so much about supporting Black business and circulating the Black dollar, but we have to have a couple of things. One, we have to know about it, and two, it has to make sense for us. It's like we're not going to support something just because it's Black. It has to be good too.
right?
And so I'm looking for people that have tangible businesses and that translate nationally, because obviously my platform is not limited to California. We
Right.
reach national and international. So it has to be something that has that kind of appeal.
Definitely. So like like what kind of shows do you guys have now? Like, because I know you've had like some talk shows, like female driven talk shows. You've had um you know music shows, comedies. Like, what kind of shows are you looking like? 'Cause, you know, our TV station, New TV, we're big into scripted content. So, like,
Right.
do you guys like scripted content? Are you like
We do. We
reality?
do. We've largely done most of what we have at this point is a lot of reality. A lot of reality. We have judge shows, talk shows, and movies of the week as well. And we're getting ready to step into the scripted content. We're working with a pretty established guy here called Bentley Kyle Evans. He's actually taking over our scripted division for us,
Mm,
so that we can make that next leap, because that's the biggest thing, cost. When you jump from doing reality to a scripted show with a full cast in a studio, it's
cost
costly to
up.
do so.
Right.
But I want to create our signature show, something that is just an over product. So
Right. So I mean, just like okay, I want to harp too much on the TV thing. I get talking about TV, I get excited. But
Me
this
too.
is all right. This will be my last question about TV. We can get back maybe to like some how this can help the world.
Okay.
So okay, so do you think okay, so like is there a way possibly in your mind? So if I was a writer, I was a producer, how could I get my content to you? Like, okay, you're out here, you're out in the world, like give me a contact. How could I find you? Like, because again, it's like it's so hard to find owners of TV stations. I mean, now the world is different. We have Instagram, so
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had to be convinced to get into the Instagram and Twitter thing because I'm like, I'm busy running a network. I don't have time to be on social media. However, I am on social media. And as I said, the most findable person because I don't use a pseudonym. Everything is Cassandra.Cooper on all platforms. So you can find me on IG, Facebook, Twitter. You can find me anywhere. IMDb, you can look me up. You can find me on LinkedIn. And I do personally answer all of my own emails, own DMs. It's all me. I don't have anybody managing those things.
right. And you've actually kind of like increased the game. Like you have like a studio set. I know you guys were doing some stuff this year with Brandy J. She has a talk show, and do you guys record in house? How does that like you guys have
Yeah, well, the
everything
Brandy
that
J show, we picked her up for season 5, and right in the middle of the pandemic. So we actually started in a studio with her, and then we had to go to doing most of our interviews remotely on Zoom. And that's actually worked out pretty well for us. We've had a kind of a who's who on that show. As we gain more momentum, the guests are getting more recognizable.
right? That had
And
Dionne Warwick on it, huh?
yeah, we've had Dionne Warwick, Shar Jackson, Patrice Fisher, Zane the author. God, I mean, we're at about 36 shows at this point already in the can, and we're going for 100.
Wow. Yeah,
So
Brandy's a really good person. I knew Brandy from day one. That's my day one ride. I love Brandy. I love to see what you guys are doing. So, you know,
absolutely,
yeah, like so you guys are doing big things out there in California, and the studio is huge. I've definitely seen that, and so you have access to allow people to record and like equipment, and you have staff, and you have
yeah,
books and
we got it all.
marketing.
We got it all. We got the black magics, the red cams, the 4Ks. We ready. We're ready for the
Right.
for
See
the
that,
right for the right production.
for the right production. But that's what I'm saying. Like, and again, like people need to hear that this stuff is out here. It's available. We just need to put on our thinking caps. We need to come up with that next big idea that's going to free the minds and blockbuster
Exactly.
ratings all in one. Right. The next
Exactly.
trivia, and we need to work together to bring these things out. And again, like I said, a part I would like to add would be helping the brothers and sisters create their own businesses and come up with their own commercials and their own ways to sell products in between these shows and stuff like that. So that's how we can really like take these to the
Exactly.
next level. Is that
Exactly. Like I said, I'm looking for 1,000 entrepreneurs around the United States who have a product who want to connect with other businesses. We have the ability to get them in millions of households. Now we need the connection between our viewer and the advertisers. And so we're looking for those kinds of businesses that translate to that.
right?
So
And that's the world. That's what we need to do right now. And
absolutely.
yeah, and we that's what I'm saying. Like so everybody out there, pay attention, get your like I said, put your thinking cap on, start writing, start blogging. I'm not blogging, but what is it called? When you brainstorming, right? Getting those
Yeah,
ideas together and and put the pen to pad and start coming up with things that's gonna get us on TV, get us into these households, get your product into the minds of these people. That's what we can do. And that's why we want Cassandra and, our brothers and sisters that are real, that got the juju, that got the juice, that are making it work,
the
and we see
juju.
them making it work. Right, yeah, because we changing. They got the juju juice, we got the juju, the juju juice, the real juju
That's
juice.
right.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
that's what we got. We got it, and so that's what I want us to see. More of us that are really out here doing it with knowledge itself, knowing who we are, not running from it, standing on it, and
Absolutely.
taking what's ours. And it's a
Absolutely.
fight, right? Especially as a
And
woman,
change the
we gotta
narrative.
mention that. She's very
We need
humble.
to
She didn't mention she's a woman out here.
we need to change the narrative though, because we've got to tell our own stories. For as much as things have changed, we still have way more to do and way more to go. The representation is still not equal in Hollywood yet. We're working to chip away at that.
Right. So yeah, we don't have to get too well into Hollywood, but I'm sure you're getting a lot of pushback out there as well. Just from being here, just from being here, from putting the flag down. So I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you. And hopefully this could be like a beacon for us, like a hope, like a light, like a shining light where we all can see that it's being done, that we can come up with the content, it can get around the world, it can get to the people, and she's accessible. She's saying
Absolutely.
she's saying she's here to help us and the 1,000 entrepreneurs. That's a lot of us.
That's
So
it. 1,000 entrepreneurs. You guys remember a simple math equation. 1,000 times 1,000 is $1,000,000. We have the ability to make millionaires 1,000 times 1,000 every day.
every day.
So let's work towards that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, so that's amazing to me. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going. Hold you. I know you're busy. Like I say, I know you're busy. She took time out. She in the studio. She got the plaques on the wall. She, you know.
That's my first. That's the first gold record I ever got in the business. MC8, we come strapped, and it travels with me always, and every office for a reason, because it's my philosophy too. We come strapped.
No doubt. Ready to
Always.
rock. Right. Ready to get busy. So again, like just one more time, if you could give the people like your like contact list, how to get you, because I know you said it. It's your name, but just
Yeah, but yeah, find us on ova-tv.com. That tells you a little bit about the company. Ova Media Group on IG, and me, Cassandra Cooper. As I said, you can find me anywhere: LinkedIn, IMDb, IG, Facebook, all Cassandra Cooper.
right. Okay. So yes, guys, let's start working. Let's get this out there. We're gonna get the minds out there. And we're just gonna keep living the life. Being Indios, being the gods and the goddesses that we are. So,
Absolutely.
so again, anybody got any questions for Cassandra? On YouTube, on Facebook, we simulcasting. So, but again, y'all know how to get in contact. Right now, y'all got work to do. Y'all got to go out there and brainstorm, come up with them super sick ideas, right?
Absolutely. If you ever watched TV and said I could do it better, contact me. I want to know if you really can.
Hey, I love it. Talk it, talk it. So yes, thank you again for hanging out with us. We're going to bring you back. I know this is going to bring a lot. It was impromptu. I didn't want to put it up too long and then you get busy and not be able to do it because again,
No,
like
no, for you, I will always make the time. So just let me know when to be back, and I'll be back.
humble. Thank you. I appreciate it. And
All
we
right, thank
appreciate
you.
it too. And again, like I say, like you are a beacon in our community of of real Black Indians that are out here, that are alive, know who we are, and I'll tell you, like we working and we get money, we living a life. So that's what we want to
Absolutely.
shine that light on. And for the community, get with her. So,
All right. I
all right.
appreciate you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you. So we talk soon. All right. Peace, guys. Peace and
Bye.
blessings.